I am Rico Bolvo, and this is Uncut News. Before we begin, do you have something you want to leak without revealing your identity? Send us a tip on WhatsApp on telephone number 659-6151. This Christmas weekend was a bloody one, with stabbings, shootings, drugs, and of course drunken policemen on their worst behavior. Starting off, on Boxing Day, the police found the bodies of 34-year-old Tara Krishnaran and her 11-year-old daughter after the two were beaten and brutally stabbed to death by Krishnaran's lover, Joel Rodriguez. The police said the three lived with the woman's father in a home on Princess Street in Lord Georgetown. The father of Krishnaran alleges that he overheard the couple the previous evening having an argument after Krishnaran returned from visiting a relative. He said that he only began to look for his daughter until well into Saturday evening instead of Friday evening, as he had assumed that she went to work and took her child as was customary for her. Nevertheless, Rodriguez was arrested on Sunday night in Amelia's ward, Linton. He's currently in police custody where he's hopefully having the stuffing beat out of him. Taking a break from his Christmas weekend, Granger donated his $25,000 Rona check to 5 residents of Mucka, Arcadia. Upon receiving the grant, he noted that the money cannot compensate for the loss of earnings as a result of being fired by the government or losing your job due to the Rona. But hey, I guess it beats nothing, right? According to Brocadong Ben, the police know exactly who deleted the photos of the Belgian Coke container, and Kanu and the GRA are currently putting the squeeze on him, which I can't imagine is enjoyable at all. The person was initially arrested early November, along with 3 others. In November, 3 GRA employees and a broker were arrested and then were subsequently released. GRA managed to recover the images earlier this month. Thousands of other deleted files were also recovered, raising serious concerns about security. Obviously. In total, over 50,000 images were provided to Kanu, so don't be surprised if you hear of additional arrests in the coming weeks. Speaking of which, have they found Nolan Primo yet? Oh well. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is the 2015 Suzuki SX4 S-Cross. It comes with all-grip 4-wheel drive, steering controls, TV, navigation serial, crystal lights, mugrins, fog lamps, and much, much more. Pay cash for $5.1 million, or pay down as low as $1,020,000 with about $98,000 monthly, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Rose Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet, sweet deal. Here's a story about someone who apparently ignores my weekend warnings about drunk driving. A vagrant was hospitalized after 41-year-old drunk driver Sean Dal Shannon knocked the poor fellow down on the LBI public road on Saturday night. According to reports, Shannon crashed into a parked car on the side of the road with enough force that the stationary vehicle collided with the vagrant, who was just sitting there, minding whatever was left of his own business. The vagrant was taken to the GPHC where his condition is recorded as stable, while Shannon is currently sober and in police custody. However, Shannon wasn't the only Christmas drunk driver to turn their vehicle into a man-mangling machine. In Denham, still on the west coast, a drunk police officer on an ATV knocked down a 45-year-old pedestrian on Christmas Day. Police headquarters in a statement said the accident involving Police Constable Lyle and 45-year-old Sean Peters occurred while Lyle was speeding down the public road on an ATV owned by the police force. The police constable alleged that while he was proceeding down the road, the ATV developed a mechanical problem that caused him to lose control. Yes, that mechanical problem is called being drunk as a fish. The collision injured Peter's leg, forcing him to seek medical attention, while Constable Lyle was arrested, and he definitely was above the legal drinking limit. Now we go from drunk cops to abusive pedophilic ones. Last night, Police Constable Raul Rodriguez of Reliance Village, East Conje, was arrested shortly after assaulting his 17-year-old wife. According to reports, Rodriguez pulled her out of a hammock which she was laying in and began beating her for whatever reason. She immediately made a report to the Reliance police station, interestingly enough the man's workplace, before she then went to the hospital to receive treatment. Rodriguez was arrested hours later. Great news for those of you who are still looking for an affordable smartphone. Get the DL3 Pro for just $12,000, or the Logic L60 for just $20,000. Both come with 1-year warranty and free Digicel Prime bundle. Available at Cellular Plus in the City Mall, Regent Multiplex Mall, Starbuck Square, Massey Providence, and Massey Turkine. Don't miss out! Still on the topic of police and crime, apparently Buxton is so rough that even cops don't stand a chance. One constable was shot and injured in his home village of Buxton as he fled a group of men who had just finished beating and robbing him. Hospitalized with a gunshot wound to his back is 21-year-old James Gordon. The incident occurred around 3 a.m. on Boxing Day and stemmed from the breaking of a rear-view mirror of a car belonging to a member of the Team Diamond crew. Although that damage dated back to last year and had been resolved, Gordon told investigators that the Team Diamond member and 7 others attacked, beating him and robbing him of 3 gold chains and his cell phones. He then ran for his life right before they shot him once in the back. Now it's time for today's Runner Report. Today, the nation recorded 5 new cases. The total number of deaths now stands at 164. There are now 7 persons in the ICU and 387 persons in home isolation. The total number of known cases in the country is now 6,298. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Now, let's take a look at news in the region. The Bahamas Ministry of Education is being urged to repeat the 2020 education year based on the results of this year's national examinations. In a recent statement, the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, the BUT, it spells bot. The BUT president, Belinda Wilson, made the recommendation and pointed to the exam results that saw a decline in 2020 when compared to 2019. According to Wilson, the education system has failed the children of the Bahamas. The head of the union also stated that the results declined by 21.68% for this year. We are now in the height of robbery season. If I were you, I would consider getting security for the home of business. I personally recommend Sheriff Security Service. I find that they are the most professional with well-trained armed and unarmed guards. Get some security this season, people. Venezuela's Health Minister Carlos Alvarado on Sunday said that economic blockades imposed by the United States is preventing his country from getting the Rona vaccine. He recalled that his country offered to place US $18 million into the WHO's COVAX fund. But as a result of the US's blockade, Venezuela has not been able to free those resources to pay the fund. Alvarado also added that the US sanctions have affected other vaccination programs previously conducted through the Pan American Health Organization's revolving fund. As a result of the US sanctions, the country has failed vaccination targets for children for the past 3 years. Oh my, that's terrible. And now for our weird news story of the day. If you're in Region 11, also known as Queens, New York, last week you probably had to deal with a winter chore GT people never had to do before, which is shoveling a set of snow. Well, one man in Kentucky recently showed off his unusual method for clearing snow from his driveway with a video showing him using a flamethrower to remove the unwanted snow. Timothy Browning posted a video on Facebook showing him drinking a beer and using a flamethrower to clear snow from his driveway. He said, "Browning Snow Services. God bless America." Oh, what a time to be alive. Moving on to our Uncut News viewers poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So you give your responses in the comments, and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Last week, Thursday's question was, should Guyana start its own national airline? Danraj Mohan said, yes, Guyana needs its own airline, but it must be managed properly. Ralston St. Kitts said, why? To start a new Gaisuko that will always need a bailout, cause of money going into the broad pocket? Oh, maybe. And DJ Wade said, I think it's time for us to have a properly managed airline. We have, in theory, more resources, oil money, and I think with the current pandemic, planes could be acquired at a much cheaper cost. And finally, Jay Jairam said, they can start drugways. Yes, indeed. Good answers, people. So for tonight's question, the Bahamas Union of Teachers, the BUT, is calling for a repeat of the school year. Should we consider the same here? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in Tuesday's episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Noriko Bulford saying good night, folks. Hi, Uncut News viewers. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.